Right, everybody, welcome back to the show. We are going to get started just a little bit earlier, just so we're kind of dialed in. Pretty important show. Again, slightly different to where we do normally. I am obviously going to go some macro stuff. Pretty wild day as markets are, I mean, kind of freaking out right now in terms of where they think the Federal Reserve balance sheet is going to come out. That gets announced, I believe, in 35 minutes time. So we're going to get a kind of sneak peek. Well, not even a sneak peek, really. We're going to get a view as to where that sits. And I think there's a couple of important, things to think about when it comes to the balance sheet. You're on about contraction. You're on about expansion. What does it mean for quantitative tightening, quantitative easing, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Weirdly, there's like half of my entire life is just on the stream, which is a bit weird. But anyway, we're going to try and get into that as well. It's not the biggest event in the world, but I think it's important because don't forget, there's been this big discussion right now in terms of where we think the balance sheet's going to go, how much we think is going to be on there. The Treasury's been like, well, the Fed's been like sneakily printing as the Treasury have. They've been doing some crazy ass buybacks, another $750 million the other day. And that isn't all, by the way. The Fed's going to do a $2 billion buyback in like 2 weeks' time, which is pretty crazy. So, yeah, we will definitely kind of wait and see. But we'll touch on that. Lots of people are, I guess, waiting to see what happens. Markets have been pretty volatile, albeit macro still felt pretty organized today with an uptrend coming in. BTC may get back into the green. We'll see. Some big capitulations. I think a lot of people were like, oh my God, the balance sheet's a disaster. Sell everything. Like, I'm getting out of there. We saw some pretty heavy selling. But that being said, BTC holding up all right. And, you know, you can't go up all, you know, you can't always go up every day of the week. So maybe a little bit of a cool off, but it might be good news. So as always, though, do me a favor, smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for tuning in. You're welcome to, you're here to the channel. We're going to talk about the crypto markets, get into a little bit macro, a little bit like what the hell is going on, trying to keep you guys plugged in rather than just be like, oh, Bitcoin today went up in price. I mean, which is something we can do sometimes, and I do often talk about that. But equally at the same time, you know, trying to give you a little bit of something, a little bit of something extra. So anyway, exciting stream as always. Smash up like button to a brand new all-time high. And big announcement, by the way, we are going to bring back Coin Focus. I don't know if that's what I'm going to call it now. But we're going to do some fundamental analysis of coins on Sunday nights. I think that's going to be a good night to do it. A, it gives me Saturday to prep. But B, I think, you know, Sundays are a good night to do it. So what do I mean by that? We'll be looking at the technicals of a particular coin or a couple of coins. We'll announce it in the Discord. We'll get into a little bit of like maybe what the company's all about. Where do we think the price is going to go? Blah, 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 blah. A couple of people have asked me for it. This like, how do you do a bit more of an analysis? Not Tamar Pete, 37 Hopper. Ignore the thing I sent you. I was on TikTok just like scrolling, and sometimes my fat fingers just press things. And I think I sent you some like weird. It's going to sound like the craziest thing. I just sent you a weird video. Trust me, it wasn't my video. It was nothing to do with me. I was like scrolling. It said 10 to 37 up. And I was like, what the hell have you sent? Like, and then I looked and I was like, oh, for God's sake. So trust me, I did not mean to send you that specific video. I promise. Something weird before anyone says it was weird. It wasn't weird. But anyway. Welcome in as always, Rob. What's going on? Liam says, Liam, I appreciate you. The fact you guys turn up every night. Think about it. It's a bloke that talks about crypto on the internet who would have no channel, no audience, nothing. It want for you guys and you guys. So, you know, don't ever think I am humble enough to understand that I'm only in this position thanks to your grace and, you know, your unwilling desire to see me every night. Anyway, let's get into a little bit. It wasn't feet pics either. Massive weirdos. Okay. So I posted this in the Discord earlier on, actually, which I said, I was looking at the 4-hour chart and I was like, poo-poo. Look at this. Look at this rejection, disappointment, absolute massive disappointment again, Bitcoin. What the hell, bro? So rejected here on this range around 92,800, which we talked about. You know, we were kind of saying, look, we want to see a little bit more of a break. You know, we rallied nicely. Markets have kind of come from that low down there at Friday, 21st of November. So we've rallied all week, really. It's been a pretty solid week. Hitting this 92,800 and then unfortunately get a pretty big rejection. Now, the positive here is, though, we came down and retested the 20-day exponential moving average and bounced very, very well. So my view is we are probably now going to reset for a potential further retest, which I think will be linked to what we get today. Specifically what we get from the Federal Reserve, which is this one here. Look, 4:30 p.m., H4.1, factors affecting the reserve balances. So we want to see like what that says. Basically, they're going to be talking like, oh, well, tariffs are a bit uncertain, so we didn't want to get rid of too much, or, you know, we think that the like, if they've like shed a shit ton out of it, as an example, then, you know, we might start to get a little bit more interested. So we'll talk a bit about that, and we'll obviously hopefully get the press release that may give us a bit of a view as to kind of what's going on with that. But interesting that we did get rejected at 92.8. So for the short term, our bullish momentum price target that we want to see would be 92,800. A break above that is now kind of what we're looking at, because the reality is on this sort of, the reality is, 2-bit. What do you say reality is? About 10 fucking times. Sorry. I listened to a couple of my own videos today and I said it about 500 times. I need to try and stop it. What's important to reference here, by the way, is that the number of times we have actually been rejected at this line. So what you got was, you know, price came down to test this line here. So 92,800 became a good level of support. So you can see the bounce down. We retest the 20-day exponential moving average, but our macro trend is still very much down. So yes, we retested it. Didn't really have any push in terms of volume. Look at the volume comparison between the low versus the high. Then we retested this, but we continued to the downside, okay? But what's important to reference here is the number of times. You can see we wick down, bounce from that price range, but then come down. We then retest again, get rejected, come back down again, retest for a third time. So you know this line becomes a very, very strong point, which means, oh, I'm sorry, you guys can't even see it, which means if we can break it, this may become strong resistance on a totally different view. So downtrend, this obviously becomes resistance. We test it 3 or 4 times. Uptrend, we see that, sorry, support. Uptrend is resistance. So we may see this break. I think a break above 92,800 actually would be pretty bullish for markets and probably be pretty bullish where we go. Likewise, then you start to see the 200 exponential moving average curve back to the upside. So anyway, for me, the continuation of this bull market, not saying the whole thing hinges on breaking 92,800, but it absolutely is critical that we break this with volume support, probably get a retesting as well, which may come over the sort of the next, may come the next, 24 hours, may come the next couple of days. Obviously, we're into the weekend, so, we'll kind of wait and see. But what else do you have? What else do you have on here? You also have this good news here, which is a nice little cross on the 20-day exponential moving average over, crossing over the 50-day, which tells us short-term momentum is positive, okay? Short-term momentum. Let's not confuse ourselves and say, well, the whole market suddenly flipped extremely bullish. That's not simply the case. When we take a look, though, on a fib retracement, which obviously we've been sort of touching on a little bit over the course of this last, oops, I did not mean to do that, course of this last sort of week or so, trying to sort of see where we are and how this is sort of all playing out. You can see there, look, that perfect bounce from 81.15 on the 618 Fibonacci. You can see again, we've come back down, we've retested 89,908, and then we're now bouncing back to the upside here. So, again, this is kind of important as we walk through. It needs to push a little bit higher up. We can see there the 20-day looks like it's going to bounce off this line as well. Price target for this breakout, again, we want to see us push above that, 92,800. You would then see your next price target is the big one, the bull market line, if you will. The line that basically tells us whether this bull market is over or not. And by the way, crazy things can happen. I'm not saying that like it's the absolute be all and end all, but it would be a fair indication of whether we continue with this bull market or not. Okay, so I think that's where we sit specifically with BTC. And again, that 92,800 is going to be the line that we're going to want to see break above. Let me just adjust these lines just a little bit because they're kind of annoying that they're there. All right, perfect. Okay, now the slightly more positive news, by the way, which is almost what we're looking for on BTC, but it's here on Ethereum, is right now we broke above the upper range on Ethereum. This historically has been a very important line for us and goes all the way back here. And even further than that, you can go back multi-cycle from this very, very important line, which people obviously are like, think I'm a lunatic. But look at this. Look how important this line comes in. You see where we break it, we generally go and print new all-time highs, becomes very strong resistance as we go through, equally a good little bounce point off. So this line in Ethereum is super, super important for where we sit. And what's great to see with this line specifically right now is we've broken above this line. The other thing to note, by the way, the 20 exponential moving average starting to curve back to the upside. RSI more neutral, again, which is a solid and very good indication, actually. So Ethereum may drag Bitcoin with it. I would argue we've probably seen that today. You can see the bounce back above. This is a really nice move. Do you know what else is super important? Look at this. If you can go into a little bit more of a smaller time frame, look at the volatility around this line right now. So you've got a number of times where we have broke this line, real volatility coming through. What's important and what is worth noting, by the way, look at the 100-day exponential moving average. Look at how well this price hit. Look how well the price is respecting this average right now. So as you can see, this is starting to push to the upside, as in, which means the continuation right now is certainly a positive one. Look at this. We get on Ethereum. Nice little cross here. The 100-day exponential moving average crossing the 200, telling us short-term momentum is positive on Ethereum. So ETH may drag BTC back to the green. It would be great if we could close the candles out, but I'm looking for that break above 92,800, which I think is kind of good news. However, really positive on Ethereum, and actually a very, very good news story. We're talking about ETH breaking above this line. You know, indicates this may well be the bottom here. Now, rest of the altcoin market, not the best in the world. Solana down about 2%. Again, under this trend line we've been talking about. XRP holding up about 0.5%. Nothing crazy. Man, did not mean to draw that line here. Nothing crazy, but again, you can see how the structure is sort of playing out with XRP. I think we could definitely be set for a reversal. Those in Zebex, shout out to you guys. Zebex moving. Obviously, the market's dumping. Zebex pumping. You know how the drill works. Rest of the altcoin market took a big old hit, and we'll touch on a little bit as to why that is. Quant continues to grind higher, 9%. If anyone's still in Quant. Brett having a decent rally, as did Pump Fun. And then into the broader markets, by the way, look at some of this. DXY down, no surprise. S&P 500 is rallying again, maybe on the back of Trump's announcement that he will absolutely keep the S&P 500 going. Shout out to him. Both MicroStrategy and Coinbase now printing green, should be indicating short-term bottoms coming in for both of those. And then into Treasury yields, short-term Treasury yields, 2-year, 10-year, all looking decent. What we are looking at clearly is what comes in on the Federal Reserve balance sheet, and equally what we get on the rest of it. So this is the Federal Reserve balance sheet, which currently sits, by the way, at $6.56 trillion. All right, that is the kind of current situation when it comes to the Fed. Balance sheet. You reckon a buy or a sell? I mean, yeah. What you're buying? I'm not buying anything right now. Because for me, I'm still looking for real key fundamental breaks, and I'm looking to trade potential movement as opposed to just blindly aping into something. Now, if you're a spot bag and you're thinking, well, you know, I'm not really desperate and I can sit on it and be like, fine, I don't care. I'm here multi-cycle. Fine, go and grab some Bitcoin, grab some Ethereum. You're probably going to be okay with things like Solana, BNB. If you're like, okay, I need to invest now and I need this to turn into a positive and I need it to make me some good returns, you're better off waiting, in my opinion, to see whether the markets have changed, because you could ape in today and we could dump. I mean, don't forget, we did dump today. Like, if you look on the shorter term time frames, like go to the hourly charts, for example, you know, we had a really nice run today coming up from that 86. Obviously, we've been talking about this. Wednesday, we strung up, but look at this. We dumped hard today. 4 o'clock, we dumped hard off the rejection of 92,800. So, again, worth just being... I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing being optimistically cautious right now, especially if you're sat in stablecoin. Like, just not a big thing. Who's here? What's going on? Welcome in. Good to see you. Stanton's here. Holmes in the building. Billy Bob. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. Andy Smith. Welcome to you as well. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget, give us a quick thumbs up. 130 people already in the YouTube live right now. TikTok, yeah, slow tonight. So do me a favor, tap the screen, lock in some likes. I would appreciate it. Just help out the channel as always. Husky Tom, what's going on? Man, you look great in green, by the way, FYI. And Rahul Vlog says BTC. Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout, in my opinion. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. First payday in a long time that I've purchased USDT and not buying yet. Ooh. Yeah, like I said the other day, I'm just sat in stablecoin waiting to see what happens. I'll play momentum moves. All right, people might say, well, too bit. What happens if it goes to 98,000? All right. What happens if it does go to 98,000 and then rejects them? That's it. Am I really going to be that bothered? Probably not. Probably not. You know, we'll sort of see where we get to, and we'll sort of see how this all plays out. But I don't think it's a rush right now. I think loads of people would be FOMOing in on you know, think about it. Thanksgiving, low volume, quiet markets, general markets are closed. Like, you know, it's not the craziest thing in the world, which is probably why we've seen, you know, quite a bit of volatility coming in as well. Holmes says half-day markets, low volume. Next week is the real test of this upward move. Agreed. agreed with a couple of, key things that we talked about yesterday, a couple of key, points, should we say, throughout the week. So anyway, they're the technicals. We're going to keep a close eye on the Federal Reserve, which is here. I'm actually going to move this screen so we can get the data as it lands. It may be the biggest thing in the world. It may not be. I think is worth noting. What will be more important is the factors that affect it. What are they? What are they saying? Well, tied to tariff restrictions and blah, 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 blah. Which we'll sort of wait and see how that all, filters through, to be honest. So nothing, that'll be the key press release. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Okay. Here's some expectations, look. So Fed balance sheet drops today at 4:30. These are some of the numbers that people are looking for. Again, we have about 6.56 or something, I think what it is. Hopefully we'll see that there is a decline in the balance sheet at the same time. Remember, declining balance sheets do generally then support the end of quantitative tightening. You don't want to go too far, though. We don't want to go too far. US projected $1 trillion in sales for Christmas purchase. New ATM, need to buy BTC for gifts. That's it. Need to hit the like button. Thanks, Mike. That'll be legit. America first, XRP made right here in America. Let's go. Yeah, there's some news coming out for XRP. We'll talk about those ETFs as well. Not that it's been a super crazy day for ETFs, but it is worth looking at. I don't mind paying higher, but need a Yeah, exactly, Rob. And that's the thing, so many people are like, oh, man, and they're just going to ape everything they've got. There's a really obvious chart that when you buy, it goes down. When you sell, it goes up. That's because people are really, really badly choosing it. So much for recession. I think it's 50-50. If I'm honest, I think recession in the US is definitely 50-50 at the minute. I think recession will hit the UK before it hits the US, by the way. I think when you go through the budget, you're like, oh, bro, like, what the hell? Like, even the OPR is trying to oh, no, it's actually a pretty good stimulus budget. It's going to be great. No, it's not. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. Jesus Christ, I could have done a better budget, and I have no idea about what I'm doing to run a country, but oh my God, yeah. Let's just add another $15 billion to the welfare budget. Yeah, brilliant. Let's do that. Great. And then have you seen all the news coming out now today? There's an unofficial announcement by the UK government. In 2026, we're going to go hard after those people skipping taxes with cryptocurrency. You're like, oh, brilliant. Yeah, that's exactly what it's all about. Screw the people that are investing, but make sure we add another £15 billion to the welfare budget. That's a great idea. Oh, and let's get rid of the two-child cap. Yeah, brilliant. Genius. Have as many kids as you want, even if you can't afford. Anyway, you're going to get me started on this. Let's move on. Bitcoin, no one knows where Bitcoin was made. Ethereum was made in Switzerland. XRP made right in America. America needs to be the top of the race. Let's do it. I'm down for it. Okay, let's get back on track as I am going off piste a little bit. Okay, let's talk about a couple of things that may be an influence as to where the market feels like it's going. And as always, you can't take this as full financial advice, but it is worth noting specifically that there are some early signs that we may be getting a little bit more positive, maybe getting some more, generally good news. History tells us that when you get the Coinbase Bitcoin Premium Index green, this generally follows price increase. And you can see here back in October, we saw exactly the same thing. And then since about the end of October, we've been down, 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 down. Yeah. And actually, we came in peak early October. So the direction of price is, almost directly linked to the Coinbase Bitcoin Premium Index. So we actually have flipped green. I mean, it's very small and you can only just barely see it here, but technically this is being green, and we touched on this a couple of nights before. So Coinbase Premium Index, green, good, okay? This is a good news story. Does it mean the bull run's back on? No. It is only a small piece of a very big puzzle that we are starting to put together to understand, is there a little bit more life? And by the way, dead cat bounces can be big or small. So we can get a dead cat bounce for 100K. Like, that wouldn't be weird. And then just dump again down to probably 65, 63, something like that, I think is what we've said is like a potential bear market price. So, but Coinbase Premium Index is sort of printing a little bit more to the green. Don't lose your mind solely based on the fact that we've printed a singular green candle here on the Coinbase Prime Bitcoin Index. All right, definitely worth noting. Now, we have obviously seen a little bit of volatility coming through in the market, which is worthwhile. But what's important to reference here is that actually bigger numbers or bigger holders are buying Bitcoin. Okay, so yes, there is a demand right now, which is why we are seeing this kind of price rally. You can't deny it. We've been going up since the bottoms of around 82,000. And the whole of last week, we've actually continued further to the upside. So this aligns to this chart. We touched on this the other day as well. Selmo, what's going on, my man? we touched on this chart the other day as well, which was kind of like bigger wallets, those with deeper pockets seem to be buying the dip, or certainly buying the opportunity that's puts in front of them. So, you know, this is, I guess, in its simplistic in its most simplistic term, we are actually seeing a little bit of accumulation at the higher end, which I think is important, right? Nothing too crazy, but whenever you do get opportunities, look at this. We've seen some pretty heavy selling, which coincides directly to, if you look on the hourly chart, that kind of wicked out off the rejection of that higher range. Kevin, what's going on? Says, good afternoon from Lakeland in Florida. Let's go, baby. Welcome in. Why are all USB storage devices on sale today? It's a flash sale only on Black Friday. Ooh, grab yourself a Stone Custodial wallet. Just my opinion. Okay, I was just checking that it looked like there was something coming in from Monsieur Trump, but it is not what we want, which is obviously the Fed balance sheet. So Trump says, Trump once again says he'll be creating a 50-year mortgage. Just set a strategic reserve up, Trump. Don't worry about mortgages. So yeah, anyway, this is a massive sell-off from Coinbase, from their cold wallet. Now, you gotta be careful here, because some of these people, and I'm not gonna name names because obviously everyone knows that TikTok bans me and all that. Some of these people are just complete choppers, right? They just post all sorts of nonsense. But what is worth noting here is Coinbase cold wallet has moved it into some of these addresses. So it's one of the largest withdrawals they've ever made from their cold wallet. This is storage. So as much as people are like, oh, look at this, Coinbase is gonna sell, it's gonna go to shit, this might be a bullish catalyst. This actually might be the other way around, because they're taking it out of that cold wallet. Cold wallet is historically storage, which tells us that, well, the fact that they're moving it from there means there could be a run on Bitcoin, which hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, aligned to a couple of the things we've talked about, that may end up playing out a little bit more favorably. So we'll see what happens. Crypto Tony gives us a pretty interesting view here, saying that well, basically they were not going higher. So, I mean, I don't think you can acquire these specific number of days. I think it's all a bit nonsensical. But anyway, you can see where that sits in terms of the actual full cycle. Does it mean that we're not going to go higher? Of course it doesn't. Because actually, if we were to print further higher, then you would be like, oh, well, this doesn't count. Then, you know, look at the angle that comes in off there. So I wouldn't go too crazy. But again, these key things we've been talking about, 92,800 short term, 98,500 longer term. These are some key numbers that we've got to break before we can, I think, before we can decide either way, which I think a lot of people may be a bit freaked out about. We've got about 12 minutes, I believe, until the Federal Reserve should give us something. I'm hoping they give us something anyway. So we want to see what's going on in terms of that announcement, if we get anything. But yeah, due at 4:30, so I'm sure we might get something. We'll I might bring up let's bring up this just so we can keep an eye on what's going on, because we don't want to miss it, because there is a big debate right now on where we think there we go. Perfect. You guys can't hear that, which is great, and neither can I. Why can I not hear that? Yeah, that. Anyone know why I can't hear that? What? What is going on, everybody? It's all got a bit weird. Okay. I mean, it's like the worst. It's the worst sounds ever in the history of mankind. So we'll see if it comes on here. I've got a couple of news stations I'm up. So Bloomberg News, Business news. We'll see if that comes out. I don't know why it's gone super weird on my computer though, which is. Okay, right, cool. So we'll keep an eye on that. It may come up as well. Howie, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Thank you so much. Appreciate the little heart me's. Man, you guys are crushing it. There's not many of you tonight, but super bullish on you guys over there. So thank you so much. Okay, continuing on, by the way. Now, this is obviously what people are talking about. The business cycle, 2026. This could be the fire that drives the markets maybe into 2026. Fingers crossed. Whether you believe it or not. But look, we've been talking about this for a while. Liquidity is what's going to drive this market. This is how you're going to see significant price rally. And if you don't, then it's not my fault. But you look at this. I guess summary of what could drive this market. Quantitative tightening ends in like 4 days. As of Monday, essentially. The US midterms elections, November next year. We know Trump's going to want to push for that. You've got booming economy and stock market for re-election purposes. I mean, Trump wanting obviously to push the stock market, says he's committed to keep that stock market higher. And then look, May 26th, Fed Chair Jerome Powell will be replaced by a pro-Trump and pro-QE chair. We touched on that before. Kevin Hassett being the front runner potentially of that replacement. So may then go into an expansion move on the ISM. We'll get a little bit more data on Monday, I think it is. So again, worth noting that this might play out, might not. I do think there's a lot being emphasized on certain specific indicators that may or may not give us a little bit more, but it's worth noting. Do you know what I mean? I guess there's two trains of thought, isn't there, right now, which is the market's either, don't throw hate in the chat, but the market's either over or it's not. And I don't think there's an in-between. It's not like, well, we're going to consolidate for a little bit and, you know, if this goes right, then this market's going to pump and, you know, maybe we take a little bit longer and it's like, okay, we're either going to pump or we're going to zero. Do you know what I mean? There's no in-between bit at the minute. So, you know, maybe with all the stimulus we've got coming, we could see it at the same time. You know, we may end up just getting nowhere with it. So we'll see. Right, we've got about 8 minutes left before Fed balance sheet hopefully gets announced, or certainly we can get an indication as to where they're at with it. So, great, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Show us the money. And we'll be buying Sol for the future when the bottom truly comes in. Yeah, I mean, look, I think Sol's a good idea. Bottom in, you know, it's a great opportunity for staking rewards, which, you know, all that kind of good stuff. All that kind of good stuff. Okay. We also got this, which we'll see a little bit more here, which is basically 87% chance now the Fed Reserve is going to cut rates December 10th. Personally, for what it's worth, I think it's already locked in. I think the Fed's already like done. Like it's a done deal. Rate cuts are coming in December. I still think there's a debate whether this goes 50 or not. I mean, we're not there yet, but you've got, I mean, think about it. We've got like nearly 2 weeks yet. So I still think, and I still have a reasonable probability that a 50 could come in, especially given Trump's statements today. And remember what we're talking about, QT and all that stuff, you know, driving for midterm elections. Maybe they do want to see us push it. I think it'll be data dependent, so we're going to have to sort of sit tight and see what happens with that one. And then all those bullish and ETFs, 23 milli, so we dropped about half, which is a big old sell-off, actually. And surprisingly, I wasn't expecting us to see that much selling off. But when you correlate that to BTC dominance, then you can see that quite a few people have been buying Bitcoin. So the market feels like it's sort of, it's either on its way out or we've reset the market, which you'll heard loads of people talking about. Well, the market's reset. We're resetting for the next leg up. Maybe we are. I don't know. We'll see. But BTC dominance here is still within the range that we've been talking on, but is marginally down on the day. But as you can see here, for the last 2 days, actually, it's been moving back to the upside. So that's why you're seeing probably a little bit lower volume on these XRP ETFs. But at the same time, sentiment, no one wants to get involved at the minute. Everyone's a bit like, ooh, you know, are we going to see an upside move? Maybe, maybe not. You know, 1% on XRP today, declining. Bitcoin 91.1. So, you know, we're going to go up forever. I do think we get to this point now. I do think we retest 100,000. It's just my personal view. That, for me, is the big question. And that's what I'm going to wait and see what happens. So I'm not going to rush into anything. I'm not like super desperate to get into anything. We're just chilling. And I think that's not a bad strategy to have right now. Just my opinion, by the way. Just my opiniano, for what it's worth. Okay, good. Good. We're going to keep close to this and keep close to what's coming on and coming out of the Federal Reserve because we might need to get some more bullish stuff. And we will sort of see where we get to. But yeah, anyway, that's my sort of view of the market. And that's kind of where I think we will certainly, see. And I think today is probably one of those that today is very much more about, is QT ending truly on December 1st or not? All right, good. I'm not going to show that because I talked about that the other day. Good. When do we start to keep on winning? Well, I mean, surely by now you are tired of winning. Like, surely right now you're like, God, I'm so sick of winning right now. This is ridiculous. So ridiculous. But anyway, hey, the problem you've got, by the way, and I was talking to someone about this earlier. This is the problem. As crazy as it sounds, this is the freaking problem. Look at this. The S&P 500 is like unstoppable. So from, bottom here at October 2023, like the S&P 500 has just been going, yeah, screw you guys. We're just going to go higher. Like, no one cares about your opinion. And so you've got people that historically would probably go into the market, go into the crypto market. They're just like, nah, man. Nah, we're all about S&P 500. We're all about bullish, I mean, like Tesla, for example, was rallying a little bit today. I don't exactly know what the stock price was. In fact, we can bring it up here. And good old Yahoo Finance. The Tesla today, obviously Tesla being in the Mag 7, which is which is important to think, was up 3.5%. Jesus. There you go, look. There you go. They were moving some Bitcoin around. So Tesla up 3.5%. This is the problem. Like, no one cares about Bitcoin rallying 1%, 2%. Everyone's like, man, buy Tesla. It's going crazy. Quant is rallying. Yeah, Quant's looking pretty good, actually. We were talking about that. It's actually up nearly 11%, like on its way back to $100. Like, do you think Quant gets back to $100? I mean, look at Quant. Like, is this the reversal now for Quant? Maybe it starts to push back to the upside. I haven't really seen much news about it either, which, is kind of a bit of a surprise. But hey, if Quant can rally, then good luck to Quant. That's my view, in my opinion, by the way. Man, this TikTok live is wild. Like, just 16 people. Like, this is not being pushed out anywhere at all. So maybe it doesn't like my title. Oh my God, Federal Reserve. So do me a favor, everybody. Tap the screen. Let's go on an absolute screen tapping mission. Tap the screen. Share us out, by the way, as a number of you have, actually. But yeah, I appreciate it. Just let everyone know that we're out here. Let everyone know that we're bullish as they come. So yeah, let people know we are live. Joe Bro says institutions need to take over in order to get more liquidity. Markets have to dip 40, 50%. Bills need to be finalized. Members need to not worry about these. Yeah, I mean, that's true. 2.5 fusion news is why it pumped. What? Oh, sorry. On Quant. Sorry. Yeah. Monad's an interesting one, isn't it? Monad is interesting. The hype has faded. The true test of whether it's actually going to be any good or not is now. Monad. I mean, still, it's not the worst move in the world. Historically, when you've got like $200 million pre-sale, it would just launch and go to zero. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, a 50% correction based on yesterday's move, I don't think is the worst move in the world. And that's, don't forget, before a lot of the ecosystem comes online as well. So, yeah, my view is kind of wait and see what happens. May give us an opportunity, may throw out the, a dip. Ooh.
Today, we're in a sandbox for tokenized bank deposits in Hong Kong.
Bill Withers from Standard Chartered.
Effectively issuing tokens related to trade finance in Singapore. So it's all on the table, but we're always going to tie it back to what our clients want and need, because if we don't get that one right, the rest doesn't matter.
The market capitalization of both type of instruments, crypto and digital assets, are both very low. Stablecoins today have $20 billion of flows a day. It's less than 1% of the flows of the payment system in the world. But because they have the ability to be very helpful in use cases, particularly in retail to begin with, but then potentially on the wholesale side, I think we will see a lot.
There we go. There we go. Bullish on stablecoins. So, yeah. Pretty wild. Okay, we should be getting, I'm hoping we're going to get the Federal Reserve balance sheet announcement very, very soon, actually. So whether we will get stuff. One of the other things that happened today, I don't know if you saw, but we had Fed Waller was speaking today, and I believe J-Power was speaking today. Or is that next week? Am I like tripping right now? I can't remember. Let's see. Good faith in Monad long term. Yeah, look, I like Monad. I like it. The whole ecosystem, I think, is about to get pretty crazy as well. So maybe we did. Maybe it's next week we get some speeches. So yeah, we I want to get this report as soon as this report comes out. Hopefully we can get it. Right. Oh, here we go. Let's take a look at this then. Federal Reserve statistics are officially out, baby. Let's take a quick look and see what's going on. Let's get rid of this and let's get into it. So, this is something we've not really done before, but stick with us. We'll walk through this. So, Reserve Bank credit related items and Red Reserve balance. A change from the week of that. So, they are Jesus Christ. Average daily Reserve Bank credit is significantly down actually from last year, which is kind of bullish. A little bit. So US Treasury securities at 4.19 million is where they currently sit. Bills 195, notes, books, and bonds. But not mortgage-backed securities. We were talking about this the other day. Like that definitely needs to be something on the agenda. So let's see. Currency in circulation 2.4. So we want to see this number start to tick up a little bit, which would be good news. So these are in millions of dollars. So that's like 2.4 billion, by the way. Deposits and total factors. Here we go. 3.705. XRP is performing shit. Crypto 6.55, previous 6.56. Yeah, so down about 100,000. We'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure. Securities held by custody for foreign officials coming down a little bit. And then you've got the maturity distribution security loans. US Treasuries is down-ish. Not like mega down, but it is down a little bit. So 16 to 9 days, 4.4, down to within 15 days, 3.3. So this aligns kind of to the whole like treasury buybacks and all the rest of it that we're sort of seeing come back, which is kind of good news. Mortgage-backed securities we touched on, which is where they're sort of buying back a lot of this debt. So there may be some more. By the way, where do I have this calendar that's open? Just because we are going to see more of this being bought back. I can't remember where I put it now. Can't remember where I put it, which is kind of going to be frustrating as shit. But anyway, okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. We will come back to that in just a second. Net portfolio holdings is 2.4 on the credit facilities. Okay, fine. Right. Total assets, gold certificates, change since last year. So they don't, weirdly, we're not holding any more gold. We sold off special drawing rights certificates. Okay, no big deal. Fine. That's a big deal in world. US Treasury securities is down 50. Yeah, they've sold off quite a bit in fairness. Actually, there is quite a chunk. Look at this. So total assets, 352 million versus, what would that be? 28 million. So yeah, definitely a significant decline in the overall balance sheet, that number there for so a lot of actually securities and mortgage liabilities, which is kind of pretty interesting. And then total assets across the reserve banks. Look how interesting this is. 26,000 on gold. Like, man, the Fed has been buying gold. Like, there has definitely been a lot been going in. Interesting enough, lending programs now seem to be bullish in Boston only. Why would Boston have big lending programs? Why would that be? Why did the crypto bro get arrested on Black Friday? He kept trying to pump and dump his assets in public. Hey. Love it. Love it. Statement condition of each Federal Reserve Bank. Okay, which is fine. Doesn't really matter. And then statement. Okay, so securities include outright holdings. Fine. July 15th, Federal Reserve Bank of Boston began extending loans to MS Facilities 2020 NLC under authorities of Section 13. Okay, that's why then. That's why. It was formed to help ensure credit flows to small and medium-sized businesses and eligible non-profit. What is Boston, by the way? Is it red or blue? I'm just curious. I remember politics don't don't come into it. But what is Boston? Is it red or blue? Anyone know? Just bought 10 more OZ of peace dollars for 39 a piece. What the hell is that? Blue, is it? By the way, I'm not really bothered about the political side of it, but yeah, interesting that it's blue. By the way, don't care, all right? Don't care. I'm just saying. Just saying. Got to watch out for those non-profits though, baby. Watch out for those non-profits. Wow. What else have they said? Blah, 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 blah. Not really anything interesting, including those records on a portfolio holder LLC, including liabilities. Okay, fine. No one cares. No one cares. And then collateral held against the Federal Reserve notes. This will be things like loans that have been taken out or where they've got certain elements against it, if that makes sense. So, gold certificates is fine. Gold held against the Federal Reserve notes, 2.357. Doesn't really tell us a lot, to be honest. So, US Treasury Agency debt mortgage-backed securities, 5.8. I mean, you'd have to sign it. You'd have to kind of see it as a comparison. I mean, where would you summarize the Fed balance sheet? It's a bit meh. It's a bit meh. It's all right. It's not the worst number in the world. Bitcoin not really doing anything on the back of it. It's okay. I think what's probably worth noting is where they've reduced holdings on mortgage-backed securities. That's definitely come down. That's good news in the long run, right? That's good news in the long run because, you know, if the housing market goes kaboom, then we've got a real shit show in our hands. So the fact they've reduced that number is probably a good news story. The US Treasury general account obviously looks okay. If you can see that, it's actually up from, it was up in 2024, down in 2025. So showing that there is flow of capital back out into markets, generally a good news story. There's not a lot that they've increased their number on. No surprise, you've got repo agreements. We touched on that the other day. I still have the chart. Again, that's just ticking back up a little bit. I don't know if you guys have been keeping an eye on it, but repo's been going up just a little bit, showing a little bit of signs once again of, you know, tightening liquidity in the banking sector, which you don't really want, to be honest. No one needs that. Maybe put it on bars, just a bit easier to see. No one wants tightening in the. Come on, bro. No one wants tightening in the repo sector, but yeah, so you can see there. Look, so we just ticked up Friday the 28th. That's today. 7.56 trillion has been sent to, you know, basically to deal with banks. So, you know, I guess kind of good that we're seeing a little bit of decline, but they're going to take it too much because they're still using it. They're still having to use it. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's okay. Yeah, so this is commitments to buy mortgage securities 15, commitments to sell mortgage securities 74. So they still probably are in a world where they want to sell a little bit more, particularly mortgage-backed securities. That's obviously a slightly higher risk than what you've seen prior, but yeah, I mean, look, it's okay, isn't it? I don't. Again, I just want to preface a little bit here. I'm not like a super clued up on all this kind of stuff, but obviously we've been sort of touching a little bit more macro stuff. We've been keeping an eye on, you know, specifically things going on at the Fed and the Treasury, but yeah, I mean, not the worst numbers. I think not the best, not the best. Yeah, not the best. In my opinion, XRP will be $2 in 24.05. As in the time or not. Around 20-30 million XRP bought per day, up to 100 million XRP per week, roughly 400 million XRP per month, as much as 4.8 billion XRP per year. Definitely think it's next year. A supply shock will come. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. We had a bit of a debate about the supply shock scenario with XRP. By the way, I'm down for it. But it needs to get a way more stuff going on with it. Way more stuff going on with it. You know, 22 million. Now, we've obviously talked about some of the ETFs coming next week. We've got a couple of big boy ETFs, which could be good news, actually. So, you know, fingers crossed we'll get that as that kind of comes through, which will be good. And, yeah, maybe, just maybe it starts to do it. But we think you're going to want bigger ETFs. I think, just my opinion, by the way, but I think if they can offer some real purpose for it, it'd be great to track how much XRP has been locked. 339.16 million is currently what's been locked in there. You know, 0.3%. So is the mechanic there that could create a supply shock? Yeah, of course it could. You need to see way more volume. And I think wherever you've got a slightly declining volume trend, it's like, okay, where are we going to get to in terms of that? Is it 10 million a day, 20 million a day? We need to be knocking on the door of like 100, maybe 200 million a day. At the same time, though, you could argue the overall macro Wall Street market is still a bit quiet. But fair to say that it's coming. So, You know, Canary Capital, that's the interesting one, isn't it? Canary Capital now holding 155.8 million XRP locked up in their ETF, which again is kind of interesting. So, you know, 21, what did we talked about yesterday? 21 shares comes online next week. We also have Coin Store or something, Coin Shares, I feel like comes on next week. We talked about yesterday, it's like 4 more. Can't think who it is though. Can't think who it is. And that gives a bit of a view as to where they are. So volume definitely depreciating. Canary Capital at 6 milli, 6.9 on Frankel Templeton. Again, though, this is the point to reference. Wall Street's a bit like meh. We'll see. I mean, even Bitcoin ETFs have been pretty quiet. Obviously, the markets were closed today. I'm not going to be like, oh well, the fact that no one was buying today is a bit. Yeah, okay, I get it. Markets are closed. Man, look at that, 22,000 Bitcoin to exchanges. What the bro? The hell, bro? But yeah, I mean, even Bitcoin ETFs have been reasonably slow. Good day, yeah, good day. 20 million back in yesterday. Good story. But yeah, obviously the markets are closed today out there, so not anything crazy going on. But yeah, 0.09 of XRP fee payment. A lot of time. Prime. Dexter, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Don't forget, give us a quick thumbs up. Hit the like button if you are bullish. What's going on TikTok as well? Man, there's literally just like 10 of you. Like, it's a sad story on TikTok tonight. No one cares about TikTok this evening. Hey, no one cares. Oh, well, it's fine. It's fine. Where is XRP as a price now? 218, so not the worst number in the world. But look at that. Look at that ETH number, by the way. 3050. Starting to rally a little bit. BTC coming back. Starting to push back up. 92,800 we're looking for. I would like to see BTC go green. This has clearly had zero effect on BTC, which is kind of good. No one really gives a fine shit about the fact that's come out. So fine. Okay, good news. Where am I? Oh my God, I've got so many windows open right now that I can barely even see what's going on. What am I looking for? That one. BTC coming soon, bro. 110k after 125 after 1 month. 2 max. God, I'm down for it, bro. I'm down for it. Let's see it. Let's see it, baby. Show me the money. So, yeah, what have we got here? So, interesting statement. Grok just sent me a DM. Says, 2-bit. Heard you talking about the Federal Reserve balance sheet. Let me tell you my view. Grok says the Fed's balance sheet shows a slight contraction to 6.55 trillion. Down about 2.9 billion week on week. Continuing quantitative tightening. This reduces liquidity, which is generally a mildly negative for risk assets like stocks and crypto. However, with expected rate cuts ahead, markets may see limited impact. Watch volatility. Thanks, Grok. Appreciate the DM. I think in fairness, the balance sheet, or the restriction will stop on the balance sheet now, and they've got to do something with jobs. They're going to have to do something with jobs. So yeah. Johnny says, Wisdom Tree, coin shares, and 21 shares. I thought there was one more. Stock market was open today. They just closed early at 1. Bullish. When did the market dump? 1 o'clock? No, it was 4 o'clock, wasn't it? All right. So this was just like, yeah. So the US did buy crypto again, which is a surprise because the US hasn't been buying for ages. So yeah, kind of good news that they're actually buying the market, which is kind of good. Well, I mean, there's no point looking at the pre-markets. Futures though. Futures are up on BTC, so I think we might close green today. But it'd be nice. Above the 20-day exponential moving average, so 91,400. Close above that. I could see us going green today. Alts took a little bit of a hit today, but look, it is what it is, isn't it? Alts are certainly an extension of bad news right now. Majority of people expected more out of this cycle. Bring on the Santa rally. Beebs, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all, actually. Crypto Alpha Crew, Fed decision. Join the discussion. Thanks, AI. I've got more TikTok AI in than actual people. Anyway, sometimes it just gets a bit weird on TikTok, doesn't it? Sometimes it's just a bit weird, but anyway, it's fine. People open short positions at 93k BTC. Well, we can take a look at that right now. Let's bring up the old heat map. Let's see where people are trading this opportunity. I think it'll stay as we've seen before, which will be pretty quiet. So, I mean, you've got some fairly big leverage going long on the market. No surprise about that. Logitech, what's going on, bro? Good to see you, man. I was talking about you last night. All in a good positive way, by the way. But yeah, so what have you got right now? Let's go 7 days out. Let's see what the market's trending right. So lots of strong positions actually looking long on the market. I mean, look at some of these. These are big leverage positions. A lot, 100x leverage being the dark orange there. So yeah, markets feel optimistic, right? The markets certainly feel like, but you got it. This is where sometimes you got to take away the noise and be like, okay, is the market optimistic for what we can see, which would be, Fed rate decisions coming down, quantitative easing coming, markets being afforded to buy, capital being injected, or is it just the fact that people want it so much that people are going to allow themselves to say, well, yeah, we'll probably pump to 98,000 and then dump. But right now, there's lots of leverage in the market long, which is kind of good news, I guess. Kind of good news. Look at BTC here across particular exchanges. So really matter, to be honest. And then Hyperliquid, the liquidation map. So you can see very favorably right now, lots of people are, lots of people long right now in the market. So yeah, we'll see where that one plays out for. BTC 30% gold, 111% Binance, 350 all other exchange under close to 5-year gains. Shut up, scammer. What? I don't even know what that statement means. What does it mean? Why do you need to end it with shut up, scammer? That feels way harsh than it needs to be. Way harsher than it needs to be. Oh my God. Love it. I love it. What's going on, Fairground? Good to see you, man. Sorry, my feelings just got hurt then. Just really quickly, my feelings got hurt. Just a smudge. How many XRP is an ample Xmas gift? Do you know what? I'd be curious. How many people are actually going to do Christmas gifts? Because I thought about it. I was like, oh, maybe this year we'll do some crypto gifts. But yeah. We also thought on a 50 basis point cut for the Fed. So Turbo BSC, I think maybe, and I've been saying this now, like generally, I've probably been saying this now for at least a month, maybe even 6 to 8 weeks, that I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. I think it's more likely than people give it credit for. Would I say I'm 100% convinced on it? No. But given what we're seeing, I don't think it would be crazy. Think about it. Jobs market, we get jobless claims next week. Pretty good number, 116. Would allow them to go 50. But I think whenever you've got slight recession fears, but a contracting market, I don't necessarily think they'll do it. But I think it's on the cards, definitely. I think we need to see what comes in next week. We'll get a bit more jobs data, which is going to be good news. We'll get a bit more in terms of macro stuff, which is going to come in. The ISM data, not that it's going to be the big, be all and end all, but it's certainly going to be worth noting. Fed, it's next Tuesday. So Jerome Powell speaks on Tuesday, the 2nd of December. So that's going to be an important one to think about. And then we obviously get a little bit more in terms of some of the data. So we are starting to get a few forecasts through right now, which, we talked about ISM. We wanted this to try and tick to 50, which would be good news. We want Jerome Powell not to dump the markets. Maybe he will or not. Again, we'll see. ADP jobs data is projected 20K. That wouldn't be good news. 20K would be bad news. 42K was previous in big companies as opposed to shorter term, smaller companies. So doesn't necessarily support growth, but 20K might be a bit of a bad news story. We'll see. ISM, obviously, we might get a little bit of a positive catalyst. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not off the back of that. And then jobless claims, 4-week average in that initial. So 216 was what we got last. That was a pretty good number. We'll see 218 is the current consensus. So that would be a slight tick up. Marginally then favorable for stronger rate cuts. Again, we'll see. But hey, thanks for the gifts, Turbo BSC. Shout out to you guys. I might bring your chart up in a second. We'll see what you guys are doing. But yeah, we'll see what that looks like. So yeah. Fed balance sheet. We'll see what that looks like next week. See if that's a big thing or not. Odds of the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates by 25 basis points. Rise. Yeah, 87% on the actual market as well. So yeah, lots of predictions. Dang, Meta, what's going on XL and Cent? Yeah, if you haven't checked my Sentinel video out, go and check that out. I rethought today. Looks pretty bullish, by the way. Yeah, it's a lagging data, 100%, but it's the only thing we've got, really. The only thing you've got, the ADP is sort of a slightly better number, isn't it? But yeah, the thing is, a lot of this data is lagging data, isn't it? A lot of it is just of the very nature of how you collect it. So, and then with the kind of government shutdown. But look, we'll see. We'll see. Do you also do H-bar? What do you mean? I don't own any H-bar, but if you want me to take a look at the H-bar chart, we can take a look at the H-bar chart. I'm not adverse to that. I'll look at everything. Remember, we're here to just kind of talk and walk through the markets. Like, you guys want to take a look at it. So unlike, people that have bad experiences with YouTube channels, I'm not here to scam anybody. I'm here. I'm as open as a book. You know what I mean? We'll talk about it. So, Jesse Wilson, unfortunately, just seems to be having a bad day, which is fine. Like, some people have bad days. It's cool. Some people are shorting the market. That's the problem. And some people get wrecked on it. Anyway. But yeah, HBAR right now needs to see a reverse. So we are consolidating this range around 14.7, is below the 20-day exponential moving average. So it does need to push a little bit further. But macro on HBAR, yeah, the only thing I would attribute this the same as Jasmine, it's a bit quiet. You're not really hearing anything. As you're not really hearing much from the crypto market, you know, Solana's got a little bit of good news coming out. Ethereum feels like the one that weirdly is starting to make a bit more noise. Vitalik, you know, talking about more upgrades that are coming, more build-outs, etc., etc. So, you know, that could be a thing. That absolutely could be a thing. But in terms of actual macro on HBAR, I'm not seeing loads of it. Obviously, I think a lot was pinned on the ISO stuff, which we said, didn't we, all along? It's not going to do much. It's just going to be what it'll be. But yeah, like before it was like, oh, well, we've done this. We've got this big investment. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I got only about 100 HBAR staked, not a lot, but hey, yeah, look, staking used in the right way, fine. Staking used in the wrong way, like if you're staking because you think the market is like, it's a good thing and the market's going up, like that's not a good way to do it. Not a good thing, really. I've known 2bit for years. I remember when I used to play marbles on YouTube back in 2022. Who is that then? What? Who the hell is Turbo BSC if they used to play marbles with us back in 2022? M. Do your initials. Do your initials. Yeah, who's that 2bit? We should know. Yeah, I won't worry about it. Hey, 2bit, do you still think this is a dead cat bounce, or are you leaning more towards a local bottom? I am still in a world where this is, I'd say I'm leaning more towards dead cat bounce than I would a local bottom. That's my opinion. Let's get a bit of a view, by the way. Let's get a bit of a view. What do you think this move is? Question mark. Let's do local bottom or dead cat bounce. Okay. M Woodsy. I mean, one of my best mates is called Woodsy, but I don't think that's you. I mean, if that is actually my best mate that is literally called Woodsy, that would be hilarious if he's just launched a BSC project. Oh, but I don't think it is. But it'd be hilarious. It is. Right. Cast your votes, people. What's the new upcoming legislation for crypto going to do to the privacy coins? Probably pump them to oblivion, but you have to be mindful. We're going to talk about Zcash on Sunday. I want to get into, so Sunday night, we're going to do a bit more in terms of actual, you know, analysis of coins. What do they mean? Are they good, bad, indifferent, etc.? So we'll do like, I was thinking Sunday, we'll do Monero, Zcash, and a couple of others. Do you know what I mean? We'll do a couple of those. So we'll get in, Holmes, if something Holmes said last night, we'll get into a bit more like fundamental analysis. Okay, is for example, Zcash a good investment or not? Well, let's walk through what is worth looking at, and we'll sort of research it live on the show. We'll talk about it. We'll get a view. Where do we think price targets could be? Do we think it's going to come down? Just a bit more, you know, kind of diving in, and we'll probably do that every Sunday going forward. So like, what's the hot narrative? All right, Monero, Zcash, privacy coins. Then we'll sort of get stuck into that a little bit more. So yeah, watch out for that. It's going to be good news, actually. The other thing to note, by the way, is if you are a UK citizen, and I did connect with somebody yesterday and was like, hey, you're big on like crypto tax. Do you want to come and do a bit of a thing in my Discord channel? And they were like, bro, how much are you going to pay me? So we might try and get something lined up, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So this was kind of the announcement earlier on. The UK has taken a meaningful step forward with its proposed DeFi tax overhaul. The goal is to simplify rules for crypto lending and staking to align tax treatment with the economic reality. This is a huge signal. The UK wants to be a global hood for crypto. Don't be fooled, Connor Kenny. Don't be fooled. That might not be the thing, but this is the big one, and we'll touch on this. You haven't seen my video talking about it, but yeah, the UK government announcing they are going to go reasonably hard on tax evasion, in my opinion. So UK tightening its range on crypto. If you are truding or a whapping, which I think this is some sort of AI thing. Get ready to hand over your personal into the gold, crack down on monetary frauding, and keeps things squeaky clean. So it must be some sort of conversion. But anyway, so this will be very much driven out of exchanges, which is something I've been talking about now for, man, God, nearly all of this year, which is by 2026, in my opinion, just my opinion, you probably want to be off centralized KYC exchanges. Just my opinion. Now, if you're holding certain coins on there that have seen significant declines, then you might be all right, because actually then you'd be able to write it off against your tax bill. So, you know, just got to kind of see, really. I wonder if XTC is a sleeping giant for the future. The ISO is a thing. Too many. Yeah, maybe. I mean, XTC was doing all right, wasn't it? But has quietened off. Have I got XTC on here? I feel like I have, but maybe not. XCN. I thought I put it on there. Okay, maybe not. But yeah, I think it's been doing all right. We can bring it up. And Tesla stock. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get ready to rumble. Yeah, DeFi. That's where it's going to be at, by the way, which is probably why they're going to try and do it. But I don't know how you can track DeFi. The only way you can track DeFi is by where you've got wallets linked. And if you, I just comment on your X account. Okay, bro. Got you. If you've got accounts that, so Coinbase did a sneaky thing last year. I don't know if you saw this, where it was like, oh, in order to move money to this wallet, you need to verify that is your wallet. So again, that's why I'm saying, like, you just need to close accounts down, in my opinion, with any of these exchanges. Just think it's worth it, in my opinion. Just think it's worth it, in my opinion. Yeah. What have you commented, by the way? As in, you've sent me a comment, like a chat thing, or you've done something else. Kissy face, tell me your bum up. Finally got rid of it so real. Chad, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in, Chadders. Wherever I don't know where you've commented though. I can't see it, but I'm sure I'll find it at some point. Okay, good. Man, Bitcoin taking a hit, man. We're going to drop below 91,000. Bitcoin, come on, bro. That's not what you meant to do. You meant to be closing out green for the day. Jesus. Someone didn't get the freaking memo, did it? Someone didn't get the memo that we're meant to be going up. Ondo went moon. I saw some stuff from Ondo earlier on, actually. I saw some stuff about tokenization, etc. The trouble you've got, like we said, the overall market is just garbage right now. Yeah, we've had a little bit of a relief rally, but look at some of the prices, like AVAX, $14. Like, what? Still rubbish. Like, the market in general is crap. But I did see something about Ondo Finance the other day. I can't remember. Oh, here it is. This week's largest on-chain stock buys. So this, I think, is where people don't realize Ondo's going to be one of those coins. Again, I've been saying this for a while, that I think will just kind of blow up. Oh, thanks, man. I'll look at it. I'm on it, right? You know, Google, look at it. This week's largest on-chain stock buy. So people using, you know, Ondo to buy stocks. $500,000 Google. The QQQ's at 273. Meta, 200K. BAB, which is Alibaba. I think it might be Alibaba. 150K. Nvidia, 150K. By inherent traditional exchange liquidity, Ondo's tokenized stocks allow large on-chain orders to execute like traditional ones. Pretty bullish. Never heard of Ondo. Ondo Fairground. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal in fairness. Again, another one that feels like just ended up getting smashed because of the market sentiment downturning, which is a bit disappointing, but yeah, is what it is. Meet me at the... for some reason, I expected Ondo to be a bit more resilient than it has been. Yeah, I agree, Stu. I agree. I thought we would see... I thought we would see a way bigger move than we have done, if I'm honest. Now, again, it's kind of one of those where you're like, well, maybe, just maybe, the market isn't finished yet and we've actually got a little bit more to go. Maybe, just maybe, but... let's hope so. Let's hope so. Mark Noby says, need more likes. Let's do it. Come on, bro. Let's do it. Let's get it moving. Oh, there you go. I found you. Sign up for a class at MIT called Blockchain and Money taught by Professor Gary Gensler. Same here. I'm flying out there next week. Old Gaza G. He's gonna take us through the worlds of the challenging world of the crypto market, which I'm down for, in fairness. I'm all down for it. Okay, good stuff. Right. Let's hope for a slightly later rally. I mean, look, where have we been at? Let's take a quick look at the previous weekend stuff. So if we look at last week, so here, where did we get? So this was obviously set us up from the bottom. So where did we get Friday night? So Friday, November 21st, we were pretty rubbish throughout the day, and then we rallied in with a late night consolidation. So look, we might get a little bit more upside. Just feel like BTC is pushing down a little bit more right now, just under 91,000. So maybe we get a little bit of a relief rally into the close. I mean, we might even still, push a little bit lower. I mean, the reality is that could be a thing right now, but yeah, BTC is kind of holding up. Again, you can't go up every single day forever. It is what it is. I'm going to lose much sleep over it, to be honest, but yeah. Thoughts on Monad? Yeah, look, I like Monad. I think the ecosystem's pretty good. Don't forget, you've got a chain that's launched, done pretty well, doesn't have a lot of DeFi or much on it right now. Lots of projects will on board, and I think that's when you'll start to see something pretty interesting. I'm actually watching Monad. I may get into it. I don't know, right? I don't know. I'll see. I like it. I'm into a couple of the players that are going to launch on Monad. So Atlantis, for example, their TGE should be coming pretty soon. So I'm excited about that one. But yeah, I think overall, yeah, I like Monad. I do like it. If you look at some of the technicals that sit around it, I was talking about this yesterday, contract size, what's been built out on there. Like, it's going to give loads more opportunity, do loads more cool stuff on there. So yeah, I think it could be quite good news. So we'll see. Ask Gary G, is Ether security when you're out there? Yeah, it's literally top of my list. Jesse, what's going on? Hopefully you're better than the other Jesse that came in. There was a spicy Jesse came in earlier on. They were spicy. Beth, what's going on? The set and pre-sale, yeah. How is that doing, by the way? How is that doing? Let's take a look. Tough American. Hey, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, this is kind of annoying, isn't it? It's just a big white page. It's like looking into the eyes of heaven. What the hell is going on here? There we go, bro. There we go. Got it. Man, nearly $1 million right now. Wow, that's shot up from yesterday. It was like 700K or something. So yeah, I mean, if it does anything like XCL, great. Like, happy days. Obviously, DYOR. Nothing on this channel is ever financial advice. Just is what it is. Samuel Dowie. Any relations to Robert Dowie? Man. MB23, are we looking, mate? Yeah, okay. Okay, we were just talking about the Federal Reserve balance sheet. Nothing super crazy came out of that, but markets are holding up into the weekend. Historically, weekends have been reasonably good for us. Saturday, quiet, which probably will play out. Sunday, maybe the one to watch in line of next week. Quite a bit macro data-wise next week, but yeah, man, BTC is selling off pretty aggressively right now. 90,800, 30 and 36. I don't think there's any specific reasons to why it is, but just another day for you and me in paradise. Let's look at BTC on the 3-day. Looks way better. Go ETH, go XRP, go Chile. Are you still holding Chile's Fairground? Still holding it. Oh, just think twice. Nice. Just another day for you and me in paradise. Looked out with 0.25 Coinbase sale pre-market buy, but only $101 worth, sold 75% at 0.39. So lucky to now be playing with casino money. That's the way to do it, baby. That's the way to do it. So yeah, just out the premium live stream and Frankie Candles. Nice, bro. Nice. Any alpha? What is Frankie saying? Is the rate cut looking back on again next month? Yeah. I reckon 25 is pretty much guaranteed. Obviously, nothing in this space is ever super guaranteed, but yeah, pretty much I think rate cuts are guaranteed. 25 basis points. Will we get a little bit more? Potentially. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Let's take a look. We haven't really looked at a couple of DeFi players. Did we put any on the? We haven't got any on the list right now. We need some more on the list. Charlie, I don't know how's that doing. I've got a video coming out about Charlie pretty soon. That was doing all right today. Oh yeah, back above 500K. Let's go, baby. Go, Charlie. So that one's, I mean, this project's holding up pretty well, in fairness. Holding up pretty well in the grand scheme of things. 60K in volume, so doing, decent volume. He was looking in EXO charts with volume footprint chart. Man, I have no idea what that even means, but it sounds cool as fuck. EXO charts. What the hell is EXO charts? Is that like some sort of superhero thing? I mean, I think EXO charts is like, yeah, getting too far into it is a bit too much for me. EXO charts. What is this? Ooh. Right. What's the difference? Some sort of premium service. Pricing. Man, you have to pay for it. See you later, EXO charts. See you later, EXO charts, bruh. Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of DeFi players. I mean, that guy we were live last night, by the way, I had to literally block them. I had to block them because there was like a super crazy person that kept like messaging me. Yeah, which is kind of wild. Oh, hold on. Tell me something you cannot say. Why have I got Phil Collins in my head? Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. I wouldn't be doing the right thing if I didn't just give a quick shill, by the way. Don't forget, check out the one and only rekrabbit.com. Look out. I know this week was meant to be a week where things happened, but for whatever reason it didn't. But I would just stay close to this, by the way. Again, not shilling anything, not telling you anything that you don't need to hear. But, when you're really thinking, I wonder what's going on, I just have rekrabbit.com. Like, okay, cool. Just some crazy person, genuinely some absolute crazy person. They were like, oh, Tubit, tell me what meme coins to buy. And they just kept messaging me. And I was like, bro, stop messaging me. They were like rung me 4 times. I'm like, stop ringing me. Man, they were wild, bro. Let me tell you, they were fucking wild. I literally was like, stop messaging me or I'm going to ban you. They were like, bro, I need to talk to you right now. I was like, ban, get out of here. Get out of here. Bro, I pay you. Ban, see you later. Like, I'm not some puppet. I'm friggin' 2-bit crypto. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Oh my God, there's 2-bit. Right, okay. Okay, what do we need to know, if anything, before heading into the weekend? Obviously, I'm not live tomorrow night. FYI, I will be not live. I'm actually having a day off from work tomorrow as well, which is great. First Saturday I've had off in about, I'm going to say the first Saturday I've not worked for about 4 months. So I'm pretty excited about that. If Bitcoin comes down to 74K, do you believe MicroStrategy will buy, seeing that's their average? Yes. I think Strategy will buy just to kind of absolve the FUD that sits around them, to be honest. So yeah, I could way see that. Don't forget, you've also got people like Metaplanet. They raised 130 million just out of the blue to buy more Bitcoin. I think what's different at the minute, though, and it is worth noting, is that the hype has faded a little bit. Obviously, when we were kind of rallying to all-time highs, like ETFs are coming in, Michael Saylor's everywhere. You got loads of other people. Even Arthur Hayes, which I think is at BitMEX. Just lots of people have just gone, just seem to be really divided in the markets and really divided in the crypto space. I was watching Raoul Powell the other day, and he's still very optimistic of a 2026 bull market cycle, which is interesting. There is a debate, and I can't remember who. I think it might have been you that sent me it. There is a debate-ish to argue that we have been in a downtrend, bearish market ish. Not necessarily on the crypto price, but the broader market. I guess from an economic standpoint. Does this mean that could play out that, well, we've done the bear market and now 2026 is going to be the 2021? Maybe. I don't know. I think at the minute, look for some key price targets that we've been talking about. Look for some key ideas that we go in. I mean, we've got a couple of random scripts here that I seem to still have access to, which I don't even know what they do anymore, but is this telling us anything good news? No. What's it saying? Prime score is 2, consolidation score is 0, so I don't even know what that means, but anyway, you get my point. By the way, if you haven't already joined our Discord, just like Stream Elements tells you there, then jump into our Discord. It is totally free. Totally free to get involved in, and that is literally the same chat I just put in. If you are interested in joining a great community, by the way, getting involved with lots of stuff that's going on, getting super bullish on the markets, then, jump in there. Like I said, totally free to do so. No expectation of anything. And yeah, good community in there. Lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of people in there giving their view on a lot of things. So link is in my bio. If you're on here on YouTube, then the link is in the description as well. So you can check that out as well. Yeah, I haven't set it up for ages, in fairness. I haven't set it up for ages, but yeah, I have access to all of this. These are all free. Market Dynamics, Trade Assist Premium, although I don't really understand. I need to kind of mess around with some of this stuff, but yeah, you go. Trade Assist believes that there are some key buy zones right now on the weekly. What does it say? So daily buy zones, we're still in a sell zone on the weekly. So yeah, going up or down? Up. There you go. Pretty straightforward answer. But watch out. That's all I would say. I think there is an uptrend in the market, but I do think there are some key things we need to be mindful of, key price targets we need to break past, and equally, you know, some sort of important measures to look at. First one, 92,800. That's what we got rejected on today. So we absolutely need to see it. If you want to get access, by the way, to our premium Discord, in which in there you have, you know, chart analysis, you've got a bot in there that you can use to go and instantly do chart analysis, then become a channel member. Grab a subscription here on YouTube, on TikTok, or if you want, grab a channel membership. Dead simple. Head down to the bottom of the screen, click join. It's going to cost you about $8 a month. You get access to our premium members group. And yeah, if you want to take a look at that, it's worth it. Can I show you kind of what's going on? Can I show you what's going on? Hold on, let me see if I can do this. Oh, I can. There you go, look. There you go, look. Bosh, here is the Discord. This is the premium group. So you can see there, lots of conversations going on. And then we also have any chart requests, which again, you can get specific charting in here that talks all about the markets. Equally, some absolute G's like posting their summaries, as do I in here. So you can see there, Jesse, shout out to you, my man, posting his view on the markets there, 27th, with some charts to support it. But like I said, we do have a full learn to trade, trading indicator, as well as trading strategies in there as well. So if you want to get access to that, then you absolutely can get bullish. And then, like we said, we do actually have within there the chart requests that you can access here. And again, it will bring up some of the key things on there. So if you're interested in that, then yeah, just get involved. That's my opinion. That is my opinion. There. Good, right? Lots of you can join the Discord. Get involved. It's worth it. The Discord's cool as cucumbers. The only thing I'm trying to do right now is make sure that we do remove anyone that is not legitimate. And by the way, I know a couple of people were like freaking out. I want to show you something really quickly. Really quickly. So Discord. So as you can see here, this is the verification. So anyone that gets put in, so as you can see that lots of people here like joined, like, hey, welcome in. What it does is it puts you in this room, tells us that we now have 317 members, and then you get put in here. So this is everyone that's joined, and I literally go through these and see of anyone that's not. So if you notice, a lot of these have got, or Jesse can do it as well. So you've got unverified and a member. Anyone who's in general has not got the unverified. So if you're in this general chat, which you can access, by the way, when you join it, so it's not like you get restricted, but yeah, then we can check who is it. I check and make sure there's no random names have been put in here, like no random 2-bit names have been put in here, and then we literally yeet them out. So we are vetting everyone that comes in here to make sure that they're legitimate, make sure they're not complete scammers, make sure they've not got any like random stuff here like, oh, I'm an admin. Like, nope. You know, if it says you're an admin, you get yeeted out as well. So we are absolutely trying to make sure, you know, that we are checking as many people as we can and making sure that that's why sometimes they sit there for like a week just so we can check on them and make sure they don't then randomly change their name to something completely different. And then we're like, oh, who's this flipping chopper? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just to give you a bit of an idea of there. Right, let's do that. Good. Ciao, 2-bit volume in ETF, about 23 million. So yeah. But yeah, about 23 million. So not crazy. How did you get the chart prime indicators for free? Because I did some work for the actual team. So yeah, so this is the Crypto Crusaders. I'm sure you know that is. There, I get that free. And then I get all these free as well. So they're all free. I don't really use them though. I'm not really a big trader, but yeah, I got them from doing like linking with the team and doing some stuff with them. So yeah. And obviously I'm in 2-bit crypto. Why would I not get them for free? Do you know what I mean, bro? Well, you know, they're like, oh my God, it's 2-bit crypto. Wow, this guy. Anyway, people. Anyway, don't forget you can catch me on my socials right here. Jesse, if you know how to use them, then I can send you some stuff. I can't send you them though. They're linked directly to my TradingView account. But you know, if I can offer any support, then I can. But anyway, Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back not tomorrow. We'll be back Sunday, night off tomorrow night. People predicting local bottom. 55% of you are saying the local bottom is in. So shout out to you guys for that. But yeah, like Jesse, if you need anything, I will, just send me what you need and I can try and do it as much as I can. So there we go. Oh, that just did the little, oh, what are you trying to do? Mark Noby, what was it you were trying to ask for? Nothing found. Is it looking at a DeFi project? Anyway, I'll be back on Sunday. Catch me on all my social platforms, by the way, all down below. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. What a live stream, by the way. Over 2,000 views on this live stream. Bullish on you guys. If you enjoyed the content tonight, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. We're here 6 days a week, keeping you guys dialed in, as always. But thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.